Onto your markets news now. Asian markets were mixed today. This following on from the subdued market close in the United States on Friday. The Nikkei share average ended the session down 1.09%. The Hang Seng Index rose by 0.8%, while the Shanghai Composite Index declined by 0.21%. US markets ended the week on a low note, with the Nasdaq falling the most on Friday. Market players are said to have been a bit more cautious as they reassess their expectations on the interest rate cutting cycle. This after comments made by Fed Reserve Chair that there was no immediate need to cut rates in December, given a robust US economy and strong labor market. The Dow Jones Industrial Average declined by 0.7%. The S&P 500 fell by 1.32%, while the Nasdaq Composite Index lost 2.24%. The JSE is higher today, with the all-share index trading up at 0.7% at around 84,485 index points. The rand is trading at 18.11 against the US dollar, 22.86 vis-a-vis the British pound, and 19.10 against the euro. Gold is trading at $2,590 an ounce, platinum at $962 an ounce, while Brent crude oil is at $71.73 a barrel. Patrice Rassou is the Chief Investment Officer at Ashburton Investments, and he joins us now. A very good afternoon to you, Patrice. So what are some of the risks that market players will be seized with this week? And I see that a number of Fed officials will be speaking this week, which could give some clues around the direction of monetary policy going into next year.
Yes, good afternoon, Nampu, and to all the SABC viewers. As you say rightly, we've had the Fed meeting and now listening to various commentaries. I think it's a bit of a conundrum. You have the US economy in very strong health. On the other hand, you have markets expecting rates to come down while inflation is starting to flatline. So they have to navigate that. I think they're acknowledging that parts of the US economy is taking strain. We're likely to see some commentary around the housing market, as the housing market index is going to be released today. So that's likely to weaken because mortgage rates have gone up in this environment where inflation is proving quite sticky. And I think the broader context in terms of what inflation is doing in the rest of the world is also important. So we'll be getting tomorrow the Eurozone CPI there. It's likely to go up. So I think Fed officials are going to be a little bit more cautious in terms of their outlook, in terms of talking about rate cuts, but also while still keeping an eye on inflation and the fact that the US economy being strong doesn't warrant excessive cuts at this point in time.
Yeah, so a related question. Here at home, I suppose there's going to be a lot of attention on the Reserve Bank's decision on interest rates. That's happening on Thursday. But what's Ashburton's expectation for now and going into next year?
Yeah, I think our case is slightly different. I think our disinflationary impulse is a lot stronger than what we've seen in the US. So we're expecting inflation to be coming down from close to 4%, print will be a lot closer to 3%. And I think we can expect at least two cuts for this year and another 3 or 4 cuts into next year if things carry on as they are. But you have to caveat all of this by saying what happens globally is also quite important. So we will be influenced by the path of the Fed, which might decide to pause early into the year rather than continue cutting. So we're cautiously optimistic given the path of inflation in South Africa. And also, I mean, what we've seen last week, we've seen a change from S&P in terms of our sovereign credit rating. It's the outlook is from stable to positive. We're quite far from getting back to investment grade, but I think the signs are positive in terms of the direction of the economy.
Yeah, no, that is positive indeed. So, but with a lack of excitement around China forging ahead economically in the near future, even with the generous stimulus package that's been announced, how concerned are you about the country's bulk commodities sector and the resources sector being able to continue or to be able to move ahead?
Yes, I think it's a very good question. We saw the 1.4 trillion package to help the local governments off balance sheet debts. I think markets in general were quite underwhelmed by that will add 2 to 3% to GDP. But what it's not doing is really propping up the property market, which is really wobbling. And property demand is what really is the main factor driving demand for commodities. So as long as the property market doesn't stabilize and start to grow again, I think demand for commodities from China will remain lackluster. So unfortunately there we don't really have good news yet.
So while we still have time, a couple of, quite a number of companies came out with results, but we'll just stick to one or a couple. Astral Foods, they came out with their year-end September 2024 results, reporting revenue up a mere 6.4%, but their headline earnings per share were up 247%, and shareholders are getting a final gross dividend of 5.20 Rand a share. This is quite a stark difference to the losses that they made in the same time, September 2023.
Yeah, indeed. So they went from a loss of, as you said, 620 million to a operating profit of 1.1 billion. So that's really because last year they were severely impacted by load shedding, and they had also bird flu related costs. So in their poultry division, which is contributing 80% of their profits, we've seen this very strong increase in sales volumes and in what they call realizations, and also their feed costs, which is the input cost in terms of the poultry, that has been coming down. I mean, that's a combination of less load shedding or no load shedding. They also were impacted by water supply interruptions. So everything went wrong last year. And as that come through, they benefited from that. And there's also a healthy insurance recovery claim that they're getting of 200 million. So really back on track, Astral, and looking very positive going forward as these feed costs, which is mainly maize, yellow maize, comes down into the new year.
Excellent. Patrice, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for your insights. Patrice Rassou, he's the Chief Investment Officer at Ashburton Investments. We're going to take a quick break.